Didn't actually plan on doing a video today, but sometimes I make the mistake of going on the internet and I see things, I read things that people write because they get mad about stuff, and it makes me want to systematically punch all humans on the planet. Um, so this time we're talking about here a little article that appeared on Polygon, a website that I don't actually frequent because it is a great big garbage website. I do appreciate some of their videos, mostly the ones produced by the McElroy brothers, but the writing on the website is just fucking trash. It is turned into nothing more than hyper offended, look at me, clickbaity bullshit. And this article might be the most egregious example of exactly that. So let's walk through this piece of shit article real quick, if you would bear with me here. Call of Duty World War II's diversity is nothing more than marketing. A supporting cast just checks off the boxes. So obviously, what they're implying here is that, well, for a long time, people have said, oh, look at all these games with all white casts and white protagonists, men, white guys like myself being the stars of the games. It would be cool if we had more people of color and women. To which most people said, yeah, sure, that would be neat. I mean, I think we have to be careful and not have people change the story that they wanted to tell. I think if it would be strange if, say, something like Uncharted, if Nathan Drake was suddenly like an Asian woman, that would be a very different story. And at that point, we're telling story makers what to say, how to write their stories. And I think that's a slippery slope that I don't really agree with at all. This is even more strange because this is dealing with something historical. This is something that has already happened. So it is slightly odd to me. So let's kind of roll through this article. I'm just going to kind of pick spots here. Activision and Sledgehammer Games pulled the wrapper off their Glamour franchise today, which I take as a sort of like a little jab. Glamour franchise. And despite the exclusively white and male makeup of those on doing so on stage, they want you to think this is a more inclusive tale of World War II. It may yet be. We won't know until November 3rd. And I think that's really important because you don't know shit about the game yet. They've talked about it for a little bit, and now you've written an article about diversity. You haven't seen the game. And that seems like an odd thing to do, kind of maybe putting the cart before the horse. Okay, so rolling on. For now, the tone-deaf manner in which this all-white production checked all the diversity boxes, women, an African-American unit, and even a child, reduced everyone else to a bullet point on the back of a box. Yet another feature. And they wrote here in italics so that you know that they're being sarcastic. We've got a private multiplayer beta. We've got zombies. We've got black people. We've got women. We've got a Jew. I kind of feel like you're projecting because they did not actually walk out on stage and say, we've got a Jew in the game. I know the kids have been clamoring for Jews. That didn't happen. This is such a shitty, stupid thing to do. This is like a straw man argument. You're putting words in their mouth that they did not actually say to make them sound sexist or like bigoted people, and it just didn't happen. So if we kind of roll through this a little bit further, because they drivel on a little bit. There's a statement here. It's important to note that segregation was still very much enforced during this time period, including within the American military. They're taking a lot of care to be historically accurate, all about preserving authenticity. I think that is also extremely important. They're trying to be authentic. Yes, were there African-American units in the military? Absolutely. This game isn't about one of them. Maybe it would be cool to see a game that was, but this one isn't. I don't think that makes you inherently bigoted. just because there's a possibility to write something, I don't care personally. If it was about it would probably be cool if it was about an African American unit. That'd be a really interesting story to tell. But that doesn't mean you have to. If they want to write a story about white people, that's fine too. You can't force someone to tell a story that they're not going to tell. That's not how any of that works. That's not how storytelling works. That's how censorship works. That's not freedom. That's bullshit. You can't, it doesn't work that way. Rolling on again. Let's see here. A lot of different people are going to play Call of Duty World War II. Just because brothers of different races didn't fight alongside each other doesn't mean that players in the year 2017 shouldn't inhabit and absorb all their experiences. Well, it does if that's not the story that they're telling. This idea that we'll just tell a different story. Just they're trying to be historically accurate. That wouldn't be accurate otherwise. That it. Again, you're telling them how to tell the story that they're telling. And who the fuck are you? And on top of that, just don't buy the game. If you were like, oh, I would have liked it better if it was about an African-American unit, then buy that game if it gets made. Or say that. Say, that would have been a cool thing to have seen. I guess I'll pass on this and wait until the next one. Why write this article? What is the point? All you're doing is trying to make it seem more dramatic and more, another controversy, when there's not one. Rolling on again. Let's see here. Talked about how they talked about more white people. Schofield followed this reference with a reference to the game's female lead, Rousseau, the powerful female leader of the French resistance. He said, as if reading from a cue card, powerful female, we get it. I also get that you're being a sarcastic asshole and that you've clearly got a bone to pick. You're not being objective here. You are already upset. I don't know what happened to you today, if maybe someone got your lunch order wrong or something, but you're already pissed off, and you're not being fair at all. You are being really snide. This is not journalism. And that was it. No other diverse and global characters were referenced. Instead, Schofield and Condrey were swapped out so that the game's true stars could be shuffled on stage for their scripted interviews, each one armed with buzzwords. 3 white actors, by the way, buzzwords, you're going to call someone out on using buzzwords. Really? If that's not the pot calling the kettle black, I don't know what the fuck is. 3 white actors, including B-lister Josh Duhamel. Weird kind of jab at Josh Duhamel. Don't know what he ever did to you. He's just doing a job. Seems weird to randomly insult him. Replaced the 2 white men who previously steered the conversation. I get it. You don't like white guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I'm a white guy. You're probably offended by my very existence. I'm really terribly sorry that I exist because clearly you can't stand us. Why mention the female leader at all, only to shift gears and deprioritize any importance that she holds to the narrative? So wait, you want more diversity. So they say, well, here's some. And you say, bah, I balk at your diversity. This diversity sucks. It's terrible. It's the worst diversity I've ever seen. Give me more. You're kind of talking out of both sides of your mouth here. You shit on the diversity that they attempt, and then you ask for more. Why? What do you expect them to do? What exactly do you want from them at this point? It makes no real sense. References to the experiences of persons of color or women in the Second World War are well and good. But then white men get the solemn treatment of the brotherhood, and black men and women get the, hey, we've got them too marketing cadence. It all reeks of insincerity. You haven't seen the game. You're projecting. I can watch the same thing and say, oh, well, that's cool that they're trying to sprinkle in a little bit more while adhering to the vision that they had, the story that they wanted to tell, and while holding on to historical accuracy. Yet you find a reason to be up in arms, to be upset, to be pissed off. And this is the problem I have with the journalism today, especially the journalism surrounding video games. I don't know who wrote this article. Let's see here. Allegra Frank and Owen S. Good. I have no idea who you are. I don't know if I've ever read anything that you've written before. I have no prior bones to pick with you other than that I have seen articles like this on Polygon for the last year or so, and they're fucking garbage. And I hope that either you stop and start writing something that makes some goddamn sense, something that actually, if you love video games, you need to respect the creators and let them create. You can voice your opinions, but this snide, snarky, smarmy, me bullshit ain't gonna cut it. The only people that you're gonna win over are snarky assholes like yourself, and you can have each other. You can all huddle up in your own area and keep to yourself. If this is what Polygon is, if this is, because I used to really like Polygon. You guys had some good content back in the day, but whether it's this or writing an article about you know, a guy like Colin Moriarty getting in trouble because he made a harmless joke, and you were like, oh, I gotta write an article about that, blah, 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 my opinion matters. Write about video games, write real journalistic things. This is nothing. This is bullshit. This is you trying to stir the pot, get people pissed off, and get clicks. And it's fucking shameful.